What's up, what's up?
Hello, hello.
Day 2, Token 2049. I feel like day 1, everyone is amped, ready to go. Everyone had a great time last night. Day 2, we're like hanging in there.
Yeah, it's wearing on us, isn't it?
We're in the final stretch. Everybody's working hard. Stefan, it's so great to have the opportunity to chat with you today. Congrats on all the recent success with M2. You guys are a new entrant on the scene. Tell us about this new exchange you're building.
Yeah, look, as you said, we are a relatively young exchange. We've started about 6 months ago with our launch. We are a regulated exchange based and headquartered in Abu Dhabi in the ADGM, where we have an MTF, a trading license or exchange license plus custody. And we adding to that international license. It's currently in the Bahamas, in Spain, we're going to India, in order to be fully regulated and transparent wherever we go. And that's the foundation of everything we do.
You guys have an extremely ambitious agenda. I had the opportunity just to get to know a little bit more about you and what you're building. And from our conversation this week, I was like, wow, you guys really want to do it all. So traditional crypto exchange, so trading, you guys have a very deep breadth of tokens that you are already active on the platform, plus a number of others you guys are working to get turned on. But there's a lot of other things you guys are doing too, from staking, and you've got some other products you guys are building. So kind of tell us a little bit more, just above and beyond being a trading platform, how you're building a comprehensive offering of services in the crypto space.
Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, the idea is to have a comprehensive offering for everything crypto and be, as our slogan, is the home of crypto. So that starts with everything around trading, spot, futures, OTC, margin trading, etc. But then we have the invest side of things. So everybody already has a token or assets. They can deploy them with us and get a good return on it. So our flagship product right now is a BTC and Ether earn plans where we pay up to 10.5%, depending on how long the assets are committed and deployed. But the idea really is to have that comprehensive offering. We are growing more and more products in the structured products and the investment product side, also for institutional investors and interested investors. And then we have other products like crypto loans that are being launched probably in 2 months. We'll have a crypto payment card and various others ideas on the pipeline. So you're right, it's extremely busy. The team is working very hard, but we're trying the best we can to get a comprehensive and attractive offering out there.
Well, I know there'll be many announcements to come, because I know you guys are bringing a number of extremely innovative things to market. You mentioned spot, futures, and then you mentioned staking. So this is kind of an area where I think M2 has an opportunity to really stand out in the crypto exchange landscape. Of course, there's only a handful of, I think, exchanges that we would consider world renowned. In the United States, we have Coinbase, we have Kraken, and some other smaller ones. And on the staking side, there's some legal questions here. It seems like there's more legal clarity there. But 10.5% yield on Bitcoin. I don't know anywhere else you can get that kind of yield. How are you doing it?
Yeah, so look, we are it's two angles we have about that. We're partially owned by Phoenix Group, which is a publicly listed mining company out of Abu Dhabi.
Bitcoin mining company.
Yes. So part of that was we put into mining, which in the long run has higher yields than that, which we then use to pay that out to our customers. Of course, that's only partially liquid since it's infrastructure. So we pair that with our own in-house wealth management team that deploy the assets in various market-neutral trading strategies, such as cash and carry trades, funding rate arbitrage, and market-making activities, which are low risk. We don't take any directional positions, because obviously it has to be conservative strategy, but it helps us generate the yields we offer to our customers. And to answer that question, because I kept asked that, we think it is sustainable. It's not just marketing money we spend on those budgets. The intention is to sustain that in the long run.
Right, absolutely. And on the staking side of things, in the last crypto winter, a lot of the companies that didn't make it and where we had the biggest blowups was in that exact space.
Yeah.
One of the more interesting developments is really these DeFi protocols where you didn't have a centralized exchange or a centralized intermediary doing this activity, where you had it in the decentralized space. They were able to use smart contracts and automatically make the most efficient opportunities for those investing in these products or staking. So do you guys think about that, or ensuring on the risk side of things, given that?
So on the risk, I mean, it's actually well-established practices from financial services to manage risk, and we made sure, and when we hired the team, when we put the team together, we always made sure we combine young, innovative, crypto-native guys who drive that innovation and come up with really great ideas. But we pair that with guys with long-standing financial services and risk management experience. So we make sure in terms of market risk, concentration risk, and operational risk also, we keep that to minimum, so it's manageable even in a black swan event or a sharp market downturn. We'd still be able to sustain what we commit to.
Yeah, well, M2 absolutely. I mean, that is another distinguishing piece about the M2 exchange. You yourself come from a more traditional financial services consulting background. You have a very impressive, distinguished career already. And then coming into the crypto space more recently, a little bit different than some of the other crypto exchanges, where it's run almost entirely by crypto native people. So maybe let's talk about how you plan to compete. So you guys already have an extremely ambitious offering that you're looking to bring to market, a competitive offering. You've got a team of people from the traditional financial space coming in to operate, looking at this very clearly from legal compliance. When we look across the crypto exchange landscape, I think there's a bit of a perception that there's kind of like two main players in town. You have Coinbase, which is the largest exchange in the US, and then you have Binance, who's kind of serving the rest of the world. Where do you see M2 in the competitive landscape?
Yeah, look, I mean, both of them, of course, are larger than us. I think our differentiation is two things. One is it's fully compliant and regulated from the ground up, so customers can trust that their assets are safe, they're protected, and there's government or there's supervision to everything we do. So it's safe. That's a very important aspect, especially after what happened in the last couple of years.
Yes.
The other, I think, differentiation is really the market-leading yields. So if you want to earn a high yield on your assets on a secure platform, that's really where our sweet spot is.
Right. And how do you plan to compete? How do you break into this space, given that competitors, existing trading platforms have been in operations for a number of years? Are you thinking of mergers, acquisitions? What's the go-to-market strategy?
Yeah, I mean, by and large, I mean, there's an angle of slow and steady, to be honest, as well. I mean, we want to make sure we don't rush and take on risk or mistakes. We're happy to take our time to build up the size and the growth, but then it really comes down to country by country, region by region, make sure we got the foundation in place, the regulation, it's safe and secure. And then the rest is a mix, of course, of offering attractive products. And again, our earn plans, the BTC, the ETH plans are a flagship offering that attracts a lot of attention. And of course, it's an ongoing marketing effort as well, which is why we're here, why we are very lucky to have the opportunity to host the event as one of the highlight sponsors. That's really getting the message out there, who we are, and make ourselves known in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, can you also tell us about, you mentioned some of the, jurisdiction to jurisdiction. This is a global industry, a global landscape. I come from the United States. We saw, I think early days, the United States was an extremely exciting jurisdiction for the crypto space. A lot of investment, innovation, development happening there. The US really hasn't done a great job of creating a legal environment that fosters development and innovation of advanced technologies within our borders. So from the way I see it, is the US's loss is the rest of the world's gain. And we're here in Dubai. You guys are a UAE-based company. So can you talk a little bit about what countries you're currently operating in, the regions that you're looking to focus on, where you see the biggest opportunity for growth for M2, but also the crypto markets overall?
Yeah. I mean, to your point to start with, we'd love to offer our services in the US, but because of the reason you mentioned, it's just no regulatory clarity. People tend to get sued. There's enforcement without clear rules. So that's why ourselves, as well as many others I talk to, unfortunately have to stay out for now until there is that clarity. Once it's there, we're happy to do that. In the meantime, we offer our services in any non-sanctioned country. So anywhere we can legally and transparently offer those services, we will. Our licenses for now, as mentioned, are here. We are about in the final stages to offer to file for a MiCA license out of Spain, so that covers the European area. We will move into various Asian countries as well, always on the same pattern, try to make sure we got the registrations and licenses in place, and then offer in those countries is based on those services.
So you mentioned the US. You don't have plans for the US today. You need to see that legal clarity, that regulatory clarity. You don't want to get in trouble. You want to do the right thing,
yes.
Which I appreciate as someone that works directly with public policymakers. It's super helpful when you have those good intentions, when you have companies that want to do the right thing. But it's extremely unfortunate that today there are jurisdictions that aren't really interested in achieving that goal, and I think that can have devastating impacts for the markets and the economies of those jurisdictions. But what would it take? What does regulatory clarity mean to you? What exactly would you need to see in order to even consider offering your products to Americans like me?
I mean, look, it comes down to having a clear view of what kind of an asset crypto is. Is it a commodity, is it a security, or is it a virtual asset in its own right? And I guess between the various regulators in the US, that's still a debate. There's no clear answer to that. And then what it takes to be able to offer trading for those assets. So what is the asset, how's the asset defined, and what's the required approval and mechanisms to be allowed to offer trading of those assets. And then obviously, the accompanying rules around onboarding, KYC, AML, transparency, etc. Once those rules are clear, and a lot of other countries have those, by the way. I mean, the UAE has the oldest written regulation in the world out of ADGM. We have clarity in MiCA now in Europe. There's clarity in Hong Kong, in Singapore, and in many other jurisdictions. Once a clear regulation like that is in place and a clear agreement on what a digital asset is, we'd be more than happy to do that. And I think that's what everybody, there's so many guys I've talked to that are just waiting for that. There's a lot of projects also moving from the US to other jurisdictions, including here, and everybody is saying the same thing. Everybody's dying. They're happy to comply, but they can't.
You got to tell us we need clarity, right? We don't want to find ourselves in litigation and enforcement action. It's just it's not good for business. It's not good for the government either. It's not good for the markets. It's not good for users, consumers. So it's completely understandable. And you kind of talked about, is it, the big question in the United States when we talk about regulatory clarity is which digital assets are considered a security, thus under the Securities and Exchange Commission's jurisdiction, and then which digital assets are defined as a commodity under the CFTC's jurisdiction. And that is one of the things that's a little bit different about the United States versus a number of other countries in the world, is we have a separate futures regulator than the securities regulator. In most countries, it's all consolidated into one group. But one of the things that's kind of unique to this region is digital assets are defined as their own definition. So do you think, and as we look around the world, we'll need global harmonization, because if some countries are looking to fit digital assets into their existing regulatory frameworks, then you have other jurisdictions like here where they create a whole new framework. What about global harmonization? You want to operate globally, not having the same requirements in every jurisdiction is going to create operational challenges. How do you think about that, and who is best suited to do that global harmonization?
Yeah, I think looking at it globally, that's the way it's headed. As country by country develop their own regulation and frameworks, it'll be harder, if not impossible, to just have one and the same offering globally. Similar to what we see in traditional financial services, there's even global players like an HSBC or Citi will still have regional flavors or local flavors for some of their offerings, just because the regulatory requirements, the legal requirements in each country is different. And I think we'll see a similar development in crypto. We'll have, let's say, Europe has one common regulation now. I'm sure the US, whenever they're ready, will come up with something else. And then I look here in the UAE, there's already differences to what we have and what the European Union has. And Singapore, again, has different flavors. Then we have overlaying things like stablecoin regulation, which is yet a whole different topic in the whole mix.
Right.
So the reality is, I think you need to be able to adapt to local requirements if you want to offer your services globally.
Right, and I think that clearly highlights we're still in extremely early days for the digital asset space, even though some of your competitors have been in operation for over 10 years. Yes. We're still at the beginning. So we've talked a lot about M2. I'd like to talk about you, just give you an opportunity just to talk about why you're here. So for our final question, okay, what does this industry mean to you? What does the innovation of digital assets, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, why are you dedicating your career at this stage to this space? What does it represent for you?
That's a good question. Yeah, look, I mean, I've been working in fintech and digital transformation all my life. I was a consultant first, then later on an IT service provider, and then a banker for a while, but always focused on using technology to provide better services and products to our customers. And then when obviously crypto and blockchain, the Web3 space came around, it's a game changer, a step change to the ability to offer innovation and better and more interesting services to customers. And then, you know, when you start reading up, I think what happened to me is what many of us can correlate to is, you know, you start reading into it and you just fall into the rabbit hole, and it's so endlessly fascinating, and it just doesn't stop. It's the most exciting space, I think, across many industries to be in terms of innovation, in terms of fascination, in terms of excitement. And then when you start really merging into the space, it's a great community. It's a great set of people coming together. Even potential competitors. What I'm experiencing is at the end of the day, we all in it together to bring the industry forward, to work together, to help each other, and that sense of community and doing something together, something great and innovative and revolutionary together. I think that's a major driver for me.
Yeah, I think it's in everyone's best interest that we work together, because ultimately, as you said, this is extremely disruptive technology. It's game-changing technology. It's going to completely change how not only financial services operate, but how we engage in all types of transactions as we move towards a global digital economy. Stefan, thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for your support and leadership in the industry. Please join me in helping thank Stefan.
Thanks a lot, Perian.